Hi learners, welcome and thank you so much for being here. Today I share with you 30 lessons I have learned from my 30 years of living. I recently turned 30 on the 7th of January and I'm super grateful for that. You know, I've literally seen an era of 4 presidents, guys. That's a big blessing, yeah? And I have a notebook here with me, so let's get into it. Before that, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do and hit your notification bell so that anytime I put up a video, you get notified about it. All right, so lesson number 1 is that I love the idea of aging. If you've been here long enough, when I started posting a lot on this channel, I was talking about aging and I wanted to understand what people's views are about aging. I remember doing an interview with some friends. You can go back, you can go and watch those videos, like the first videos of this channel. And I was asking them, like, what's your idea of aging? How do you feel about it? What worries you about it? And I have actually come to realize that I love that idea because, you know, aging comes with wisdom, it comes with experiences, it comes with wealth, yeah? And I am not saying this as a cliche thing because it's something people say. It's because the more I age, the more I understand those things, you know, they become clearer to me. So I love the idea of aging. Lesson number 2, you don't always owe people an explanation. And that's true, guys. You know, we are adults at the end of the day. Sometimes we are forced to make a decision in the heat of the moment. Sometimes we know like how people reason. We have hung around our friends long enough, or people that we have known long enough, and we know how they reason concerning some matters, and you feel it's wiser for you to just do things and not have to share with them, yeah, and not give an explanation for everything. And sometimes, a disclaimer, sometimes by day it's okay to not even like some people have not grown with good relationships with parents, and so I'm not saying like being rude about it, but you don't always owe people an explanation. Even parents, sometimes, you know, we make decisions that are wise for us in that season, and it's okay, yeah. And the word that I used is always. We don't always owe people because there's a place for accountability as well. There are people that we are accountable to, and at least we should share with them some of these choices that we are making. And in that case, also some parents, because there are people who have a good relationship with their parents, and it's okay to let them in and let them know, you know, the choices you're making and so on. So I hope that one is clear. Yeah, and the third one is closely related to the second one. It's okay for people to disagree with you. In the quest of making those decisions, some people will not, you know, agree with you. They will be like, why did you do that? You know, why did you choose that thing? Especially, I think this one is a big one. I noticed that when preparing for the wedding, around that season, you know, there are so many voices that are speaking into you, and some are truly wishing you well, and they are being, you know, kind about it. But you know that this one is not. I'm not going to do that one. Yeah. So sometimes it's okay. People will not always agree with the choices that you make, and it's okay. All right. Number 4 is that get your mindset right and everything else will fall into place. Yeah, I think that's one of the things I feel strongly to keep hammering on this channel. Like, the mindset is everything, guys. If you have the mindset right, everything else just somehow aligns, yeah? Because your perspective changes on things, how you perceive things, how you understand, your understanding actually changes when you start with a mindset. So if you have your mindset right, everything else falls into place. Yeah, number 5, love is choosing, guys. As I shared earlier, okay, I've not shared that, but I think I mentioned the wedding. So I recently got married, and one thing I have come to learn is that you have to make a daily choice to love your spouse, because these are people who have grown up in different backgrounds. Like, you didn't know each other, right? They come with their own understanding of things, they come with their own ideologies, you know, how their processes of doing things, and there has to be a place of love. You chose that person, and you have to keep choosing that person every day and learning how to accommodate, the differences and how to get along. So love is choosing. Whew, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm so tired already. Number 6 is that in his own time, God makes everything beautiful. And there's a verse I'll insert here on the screen. And I love the fact that God does things in his own time and everything falls in place so perfectly, like time never went by. When God does his things, it's final. Yeah, you might have waited for something for 5 years or more years, but when it's God's timing, that thing will align so well. You don't even feel like, like 5 years have already gone by. Yeah, so if anyone out there is trusting on God for something, my plea to you is to keep believing and to keep trusting, because God for sure will do it for you. Yeah. Number 7 is that I am a morning person. Yeah, I like doing things in the morning. I like the idea of waking up early, the idea of doing my devotion early in the morning, the idea of getting the day started early. Yeah, and I feel that my energy usually leaves me towards the end of the day. That's just how I find things easily. I remember when I was in high school, I used to doze in the afternoon classes, but for the morning classes, at least the mid-morning classes, I was alert. At least I used to be alert. I don't know if a classmate can testify to that, but yeah, the afternoon lessons, I'm telling you, sometimes I was just struggling with sleep. Yeah, so I like doing things in the morning. Yep, that's one thing I have learned about myself. Number 8 is that you figure out your purpose early as you can, and it will save you a lot of time. When you figure out the thing that you are meant to do, it saves you time, because like you go head on it. You don't even beat around the bush trying different things so that you can arrive at that. But I also think the beauty of the process of figuring that thing out is what makes us truly pursue it with passion. Like once you find it, you're like, this is it. This is what I am meant to do. Yeah. So figure out what you're meant to do and just run with it. And it's okay if it takes time for you to discover that. Lesson number 9 is that when you are angry about something, sleep on it. Literally, I'll sleep and next morning I don't even think about it. Like I feel so peaceful about it. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. So if you find yourself getting angry about things, if it's a spouse, if it's a partner, a friend, just sleep on it. Sleeping on it does not mean not talking about it or addressing it. Yeah, it just means giving yourself time so that you come back to it with a sober mind and address it with a lot of sobriety. All right. Number 10 is that discipline over motivation. Like that's what I would choose. Discipline over motivation any day, anytime. And as I say this, I know that it's still a struggle. It's something that I am working towards. Discipline, because motivation fades, yeah? And motivation means you have to keep seeking it every time. But something that you are disciplined about, you do it whether you're feeling like it or not, yeah? Do you remember in high school how we had bells and we had to obey the bells? Like if it's time to switch from one lesson to another, you would not stay in the previous class, right? So I think that's how discipline works. You do something not because you like want it or are feeling energetic about it. It's because it's what is good for you. Discipline will build a culture of showing up, and there's a lot of fruit attached to being disciplined. Number 11 is family is not always blood. I say this because over time I have come to embrace a lot of friends that God has given me that have turned out to be amazing. People who have stood by me through thick and thin. I'm not saying family has not done that for me, but I'm saying we can find family in so many places, even in friends, in places we would never expect. So family is not always blood. The next lesson is lesson number 12. No is a complete sentence. We don't always have to back our no with a lot of explanation, guys. If someone asks you, hey, are you available for this and that? You'll be like, no, I won't make it, I'm sorry. Like, that's okay. You don't have to be like, because this and this is happening, you know, I thought about this, I'll try. Don't be in between. If your no is the answer you want to give it. If it's no, it's a no. So no is a complete sentence, and it doesn't have to be backed with a lot of words, you know, trying to cover up and trying to make the other person not feel bad. It's okay to say no. Number 13 is that you're responsible for how your life turns out. And this one is closely related to what we talked about, that your mindset is everything. So you're responsible for how your life turns out because of the decisions you make, the people you hang around, the thoughts you embrace in your mind, how your heart sees things, you know, you're responsible for that. And I remember this story of a guy at the pool of Bethesda. I'll share a verse down here. This guy was like, he was a disabled person for 38 years, yeah? And he was there for, imagine 38 years, like no one ever assisted you. And when Christ comes and asks him, like, do you want to get healed? And he's giving like excuses of why he can't be healed, yeah? So this man could have said, yes, I want to be healed, yeah? And you see, he's the one who is in charge of his own destiny, like he's in charge. Christ is asking him, do you want to be healed? And he's like, oh, so if people get into the water before me, I have no one to carry me, you know, all these excuses. So let's not make excuses, let's take action, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for how our life turns out. Lesson number 14, you can learn anything you want to learn. There's no limitation. I don't know everything, but I would want to learn as much as I can. If something is difficult for me to do, I try to learn about it, especially if it's something that is within the things that I do, what I am passionate about. I learn them because your mind can take in anything, guys. There's an audio I always refer to. It's called The Strangest Secret in the World. It's by Earl Nightingale, and it talks about how the mind is the most unexplored, it's the most unexplored planet in the world, the mind, because people like downplay their mind, yet it is so powerful, yeah? So you can learn anything. Let me not get deep into that, but the point is you can learn anything you want. Number 15, I love reading and writing. I love reading books and I love journaling. Number 16, your life partner is one of the greatest life decisions you'll make. I think this is true because this person will literally be involved with everything you do, you know, your decisions, to your work decisions, your spiritual decisions, your family decisions, career, education, all of those things, you know, and there's an implication, even financial implication, that affects both of you. So it's okay to take time, choose your partner, because that's one of the greatest decisions that you will make. You know, they are responsible for your joy. Sometimes they are responsible for how life turns out generally, yeah? So that's a lesson that I have learned. Number 17 is that I'd rather listen to music than watch a movie. And how I came to know this is whenever I put a song on YouTube to listen, just one song, I end up listening to I can even listen to music like the whole day, guys, and not even have the craving for a movie. It's not like I don't watch movies, but if I was to choose between music and movie, sometimes I feel like a movie is too long. It's too long, and for a song I can listen to like 50 songs, yeah, so I am a music person. I rather listen to music than movies, though I watch movies. Number 18 is that trauma wounds take time to heal. There's some wounds that we went through as kids and they are healed like gradually, yeah? It doesn't go away at once. Something might happen and trigger you and you go back to that memory. So trauma takes time to heal. There's some things that I'm still working through that happened to me as a child. So yeah, that's a lesson that I have come to learn. No further details about that. Number 19 is that if it can be measured, it wasn't done. I'm saying this to emphasize on productivity, because productivity is about showing the result of what you are doing, right? And I don't mean like everything has to be about numbers, but it's something like I was supposed to do laundry today, so the measure is, have you done laundry? Like, can you show, like, these are the clothes I hanged? Yeah, so that's you showing the result of something. If you are into blogging, maybe your goal is to write a blog post every day, so the deliverable for each day will be one blog post. So yeah, if it's not measured, it wasn't done. Yeah, I'm not excellent at that, but I'm really working to make sure I show something for what I was doing through the day. Yeah, if that makes sense. Number 20 is proactive laziness, any day, anytime. Like, that's what I'd choose. I've done a whole video on that. I can link it somewhere up here or in the comment section. I'll choose proactive laziness any day, anytime, because proactive laziness is about doing what you can right now so that it saves you time in the future. So if there is an option for me to have that, then by all means I pick that. Number 21 is you don't always have to love something to do it. And I'll give an example of dishes. Dishes have to be done. I don't like doing dishes, but they have to be done. There are some things in life that you'll need to do, not because you love them, but because it's something that needs to be done. Yeah. The other lesson I have learned is that making a phone call is not that hard. This comes from a person who previously avoided phone calls and a person who would have preferred messages over phone calls any day, anytime. A phone call literally takes 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes 2 minutes and you're done with it. These days, I'm like, I'll just pick it up and listen to the person, and then I'll know how to respond. Because previously I'll be like, Kai, what do I say? How do I respond? You know, what do they want? I stopped worrying about that, and I now have the confidence to say that I'd pick phone calls over messages. Yeah. Number 23, mostly quality over quantity. I said mostly because there are times I would choose quantity, like how much is in that thing that you're buying. Yeah, there are times I would choose the quantity of that thing. Other times I'll be like, no, I prefer quality. So quality over quantity. Number 24, take L's like a champ. See them as the past and take lessons. It doesn't feel good when you take an L in life, and there are so many L's that we might have to take in our lifetime. Yeah, so I choose to look at them as it's something that's already in the past, and I also look at them like, what lesson can I take from it? But especially seeing them as something in the past. When something has already happened, it means it's done. How do we move on from here? So that's how I am choosing to view L's in my life. Number 25 is there is enough grace to extend. You guys, there's enough grace. And when you think you don't have any more love to give, imagine there is still more. There is still more grace to give. And I like one verse from the book of Ephesians that talks about the riches of God's grace. And it's so much, and it talks about one way that grace was expressed was through the kindness in Christ. And we all know what Christ did. Christ died for us, right? And that is just one expression of God's grace. So when the Bible says that there is sufficient grace, for sure, there is enough grace for us to extend. There's enough grace for us to extend to someone who is a stranger, to our partners, to our friends, to our family. There is always enough grace to extend, you guys. Number 26 is once in a while, try to walk in someone else's shoes. When you put yourself in someone's you see why they make the decisions they do. You hold space for them. You extend love and kindness towards them because you actually know why did this person do that. Yeah, and you also get to understand, is this person a good friend? Because if that person is normally a mean person, I'm assuming you don't want to put yourself in those shoes, but at the same time you get to evaluate them. This person, this is how they treat people. How would I feel if I was treated like that? And that can be a foundation for a conversation, or you deciding this is not the kind of energy that I need in life. So once in a while, try walk in someone else's shoes. Number 27 is peace over everything. I say that because for me, when I have peace about something, it's an assurance of God's presence in that thing. So I choose peace over everything. And then number 28 is consistency is a faith action. The more you consistently do something, like even when you cannot see the result of it, it's a big faith step. So that's my belief, that's my conviction. Number 29 is I'm not everyone's favorite. Again, this goes back to how people will disagree with you, and it's okay. So there's that. And then the last one is tomorrow is a new day to try again. There's always a second chance. As long as God has put breath in your lungs the next day, it means it's an opportunity for you to show up as a better version of who God made you to be. Whew, I feel so tired, guys. Thank you for watching this far, and give this video a thumbs up, and see you in one of my other videos. Bye.